Hi everyone, in this video I'll show you the exact process of how I edit my photos in Lightroom. Let's do it! Okay, so I selected 5 different photos and now I'm going to edit all of them in Lightroom. Let's start with the first one with the car. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm going to change the profile from Adobe Color to Fujifilm's Classic Chrome V2. Because it is the one which I prefer the most, to be honest, and so let's just close it. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm going to increase the temperature by quite a bit because I'd like to have all of my photos a consistent fill from this trip to Spain. This is where I shot this photo, so I'm just gonna increase it something like this. I think it's fine. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna crop this photo just a little bit to remove this part here and a little bit of this part as well. Yeah, that's fine. So the next thing, I'm actually gonna rotate this photo just a little bit and see if I'm gonna like it more. Yes, okay. So I rotated the photo by just a bit and now you can see this white strip here. To remove it, all you need to do is basically click this check mark here. Okay, done. The next thing I'm going to do is increase the contrast by a bit, around 8. Okay, blacks maybe as well. I'm gonna decrease them slightly by -5. Okay, I'm not gonna touch those ones for now. I'm gonna play with the tone curve. What I usually do, I basically try to replicate the S curve. So I add 3 points along the line, and then the first one I normally drag just a little bit down, like so. The second one I normally drag a little bit upwards, so if you see, it affects like the lights quite a bit, so something like this. And then the third one I normally also drag upwards. Let's see. Okay, something like that is fine. Okay, I'm going to try to add a little bit of vibrance maybe to this photo, maybe like +15. Overall, I like what I got so far. Maybe going to play a little bit with HSL and specifically with the blue tone, and see if I can make this part here a little bit nicer. So no, it doesn't really affect that much, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. All right, so overall I think this photo is pretty much done. This is what I like. Okay, let's move to the next one. So this is the portrait I shot of my wife in one of the parks in Cadiz. It's a pretty nice little town in Spain. So this photo was shot with the harsh lighting, and she was standing right under the tree with the leaves. Yeah, let's go and edit this photo. So again, I'm gonna change the profile. Actually, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna change it here. Because sometimes I prefer to work with straight raw and keep the Adobe color because of the skin tones. Because to be honest, with Adobe color, for this particular shot, I like the skin tones more than with the classic chrome, because with the classic chrome the skin looks a bit pale to me right now. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna stick with Adobe Color for this photo. Sorry. Okay, so the next thing I will do, I will increase the temperature. Okay. Then I'm going to crop the photo just a notch. Oh, sorry. I'm traveling and I don't have my mouth with me, so I have to use my touchpad, and it's just, you know, not that comfortable to use. Okay. Yeah, something like that, I believe, is fine. Okay, so as you can see, the on the hand and on some parts of her clothing, the highlights are a bit blown out, so I probably need to decrease the highlights a little bit to give back the color. See what I've done? I moved the highlights to -24, and now you can see that her cloth is more sort of like bluish, or whatever this color is. Okay, so we're just gonna leave it at -20 probably. All right. Actually, I'm gonna increase the temperature a little bit more. Okay. So contrast, maybe a little as well. Okay. Sorry for that. Transform section. So I'm gonna press vertical. Just okay. No, it's not gonna work. Okay, don't worry. What else? What else? Okay, let's click on masking and select the subject. Okay, so actually, yes. Okay. And actually what I wanted to do was select subject again and then invert it, so that now I'm going to work with everything apart from the actual person standing in this photo. So I'm just gonna increase the exposure a little bit. Maybe, sorry, increase the shadows as well. Yeah, looks fine to me. And okay, in hue and so in hue I'm going to move this slide to make the green light a little bit more yellow, because I like it this way more. It's just a personal preference. All right, so with the turn curve again, I'm going to try to replicate S curve, but since this photo is quite dark, I'm probably not gonna mess around with the first point that much, because otherwise it's gonna make the photo even more dark. Okay, this one. Okay, I think this is fine. What else? What else? Maybe increase the shadows just a bit. Okay, that's it probably. Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna move myself to the right side, because now I'd like to open this photo in Photoshop and do a bit of editing there, because there are some slight imperfections in this photo. So like on her glasses, there are some markings which can distract the viewer's attention. So I'm just gonna, okay, sorry, I forgot to mention. So I just pressed the button J on my keyboard, which stands for spot healing brush tool. So from my experience, it is the most useful tool for photo retouching, at least for me, because it basically allows you to really quickly remove all these small imperfections. So something like this, I'm just gonna remove, make it, you know, a little cleaner. I'm using my touchpad. At home I have, sorry, okay. At home I have a professional graphics tablet, so it's much easier to to do this task using a tablet rather than, you know, touchpad on my MacBook. So, okay. I could spend quite a bit of time retouching her sunglasses in this particular photo to make it, you know, perfect. But for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to spend that much time on it. But when I will be preparing this photo for the photo book, I sure will play around with this photo even further, even more, sorry. Okay, some spots as well, like I prefer to remove them so that the photo looks clean and nice. And also some here, which has fallen onto her face as well. So something like this. Again, like for the purpose of this video, I'm doing it really quickly, not really paying all that much attention to it. But when I normally edit photos myself, I really do spend quite a bit of time to make each photo that I like as perfect as possible. So okay, this looks fine for, yeah, I guess so. Okay, now I just press Command S to save the photo from Photoshop back to Lightroom. Okay, so and it created the additional photo with the retouching. So if I move back and forth, you can see on her sunglasses that there are like small distractions have been removed in Photoshop. It created the third one because I have already edited this photo prior to this video, so this is the reason why it is showing the number 3 instead of 2. Okay, let's move to the next one. So I actually quite like this photo. It's quite simple, follows rules of thirds, and nothing that special, but I think with some editing it's gonna look pretty awesome. Okay, let's change the profile from Adobe to Classic Chrome. See how it already affects the coloring of especially of blue colors in this photo. Okay, let's do a bit of cropping. Actually, it's almost perfect. See, like rule of thirds, this lamp is along the line, and these two people are also following the lines. So the cropping is actually pretty good in this photo. Let's try press the vertical button. Yeah, actually, yeah, I prefer it this way. Okay. So now let's increase the temperature again to make all of my photos consistent in my future photo book. I prefer to have a sort of like really similar vibe. All right, so just a bit of shadows. What else? Okay, S-curve as well. This part looks a bit dark to me, so let's try to add a bit of exposure. Actually, I feel like there's too much of this, whatever it's called, too much of a ground, basically. I'd like to make the photo a little tighter. Yeah, probably something like this. Maybe a bit of vibrance. Okay, with this photo, because there are a lot of blue colors, I would like to play around with HSL and see what can I achieve. Okay, So I'm just gonna decrease this blue HSL by -4 to add a little slight, slight color grading to the blue color in this photo. This is the way I like it. Okay, so actually gonna try to maybe play around a little bit with shadows here. Okay, this looks fine to me, but there are some imperfections on this ground which distract the viewer. Also this small hole here, and I'm not sure if it is my screen a little dirty or something, but I see that there is something there as well. So I'm just gonna again open this photo in Photoshop, and I'm just gonna remove all these imperfections. So again, I press on the J on my keyboard. There is a small ship here, or yacht, or whatever it's called. So I'm just gonna remove it because it doesn't really add to the photo, but it kind of it looks like a small imperfection. So same thing here, just gonna remove it. There are no birds. Okay, so this thing, just gonna make this photo a little cleaner so that it looks better, nice and clean. Okay. This is obviously not necessarily, and a lot of people can actually say, okay, why are you manipulating your photo? You should keep it the way it is. But personally, I prefer to remove small distractions to make the photo as clean as possible. And this is what I've done. Okay, so I saved the photo from Photoshop back to Lightroom. Okay, so again, I have number 3 because I have previously already retouched this photo. Also, no, sorry, no, yeah. So just to show you before and after, I haven't done all that much to this photo, to be honest. All I've done was basically added a bit of temperature, a bit of color grading, and yeah, just removed some of the part. Okay, this version still has imperfections because I've selected a different one. Okay, so yeah, looks good to me. All right, let's edit this quick photo now. Again, change profile from Adobe Color to Classic Chrome. This photo is a little bit blown out, as you can see on the face, and on the t-shirt it's like completely white. So let me decrease the highlights a bit. Okay, now let's move and try to click vertical. Yeah, looks good. S-curve again. Not gonna touch this one because it affects the side of the face and this part quite significantly, making it, making the photo not that good. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Actually, in this photo, I'm not gonna play around with turn curve that much. Okay, so let's just add temperature. Again, to create a similar vibe to all the previous photos. A little bit of negative, again, -5 to this blue section here. So actually I'm gonna use probably going to use Yeah, radio. Just gonna increase shadows a little bit to highlight this left part of his face, which has been covered in shadows. Okay. What else? Okay, contrast maybe a little bit, shadows as well by 10, whites. No, actually, I'm not gonna touch whites. Vibrance maybe a little bit. Yeah, +6 is fine. Okay. Again, gonna open this photo in Photoshop and do some editing on his face probably, because there's a harsh light and it affects all the small. Okay. See this thing here, it also distracts, so I'm just gonna try to remove it as well. That's fine. Actually, I'm not gonna adjust that much in this photo. That looks good to me. At least for this video. Probably still gonna play around even further with this photo before adding it to my photo book, but for the purpose of this video, yes, it's just fine, I think. Yeah, okay. So the final image, here's my wife standing right next to the Louis Vuitton boutique here in Spain. So first thing I see, the photo is slightly inclined to the right side, so I'm just gonna remove this one. I'm gonna press vertical to straighten up this image. Okay. Next thing, again, temperature. Oh, sorry, I forgot to. Yeah, just gonna apply this Classic Chrome V2 version 2 again. Yeah, in terms of cropping, I think it's actually fine. Just gonna leave it as it is. Maybe no, actually, yeah. So tone curve, going to do a little bit of adjustment here. It's so uncomfortable to use the touchpad. It's so much easier to do these things with the mouse and much more precise as well. Okay. Going to select the subject and do a bit of editing here. So whites maybe by 6, yeah. Yeah, overall looks good to me. So actually, let's try and add a little bit of vignetting to this photo to make the subject pop a little more. Okay. So we're gonna add a little more, not extremely a lot, but yeah, maybe a bit of vibrance as well, and a bit of saturation. No, actually not. Yeah. Nah, okay. So yeah. Okay, yeah, that looks fine to me. So, okay, that's it. So I edited 5 different photos. I also showed you how I remove small imperfections in Photoshop afterwards. And this is really my process. I mean, I do spend a bit more time on each of the photos that I select for the photo books. just to remove all imperfections and, you know, adjust the color grading to my exact liking. But overall, this is the exact procedure that I follow, and sometimes you know, you go back and forth to change some of the edits, and so yeah. I hope that you found this video useful and learned something new about editing photos in the Lightroom. If you have any questions, please write them down below this video, and I will do my best to answer them. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.